I'm Saturday Hauling, and I'm going to start off with a product that's kind of a repurchase. I got another shade of the LYS Beauty Triple Fix Full Coverage Brightening Concealer because I really like the formula of this product, but the shade that I have is just too dark for me. And I've actually found this shade range to be really hard to try to match to my skin tone anyway. So I just went ahead and got the lightest shade that they made. And for being the lightest shade available, I still feel like it could be lighter for the lightest shade. And it definitely has an either neutral, slightly pulling warm undertone, which isn't my favorite, but I love the formulation of this. I love the color, looks nice. I've actually been wearing the new shade that I've gotten all week. So the packaging is this triangular. Because the packaging is so long, the wand is also really long, and it's a little bit hard to pull the doe foot out. So when you do it, it splatters just a little bit, and then when you put it in, you have to be careful. And then I'll swatch it next to the shade that I already had. I think that the coverage on this is a light to medium buildable. The LN3 actually pulls quite warm or almost yellow on my skin tone. Right there, again, the darker shade is LN3 and the lighter shade is LG1 right there. So happy with that purchase because again, I love the formula, but I do think that they need a little bit more cool undertones in that product. So that is the LYS Triple Fix Full Coverage Brightening Concealer right there. And then I did go ahead and purchase another one of the Makeup by Mario Moisture Glow Plumping Lip Serums, and I got the shade Pink Glow. The original one that I hauled was Nude Glow, and I really enjoyed the product so much that I wanted to get another one, and I was thinking that Pink Glow was going to have enough differentiation in comparison with Nude Glow, and really I did not need them both because there's just not a lot of pigment in the Pink Glow version, and I kind of feel like on my lips it just looks kind of clearish. The nude one actually has more pigment in my opinion than the Pink Glow does, so I kind of wish I would have got one that had like a shimmer to it or something that was a little bit different, but I still love the product itself. So let me grab the box here. So this is again the Moisture Glow Plumping Lip Serum, 0.08 fluid ounces of product, and this guy's made in South Korea. So I'll just swatch them both for you guys. It clicks up. You cannot click it back down because the formula is so soft it just wouldn't function properly. They can get messy really easily. So I try to almost, when I put it on, just a couple clicks, and sometimes it's not even level with the outside because the curvature of my lips will kind of dig into the packaging, so I get enough product out of it that way. So here's Pink Glow. Well, I get a little more there. Right there. And then I'll show you guys Nude Glow, which again has got a little bit more pigmentation. I've actually been wearing this a lot, this Nude Glow shade. Yeah, and I would be very careful about how much of the product that you put out with both of these because again, they can get messy pretty quickly. So yeah, I mean, just not a ton of differentiation there. I should have just grabbed a different shade, but that's okay because both of them are really easy to wear and easy to throw on regardless of like what kind of makeup look I have. So that's the Pink Glow Moisture Glow Plumping Lip Serum there from Makeup by Mario. And then I also got the new Too Faced Cheek Popper Blushing Highlighter. They came out with a new like pink collection with some blushes and stuff. A lot of the places don't have a lot of the blushes in stock, but I want to get a couple of those as well. They look like really pretty. So I just have the highlighter right now, and there's also an eyeshadow palette, but I kind of want to see that one in store instead of blind buy it. Because I'm not sure. I'll probably end up getting it one way or another, but I did go ahead and get the highlighter. So this has got 0.12 ounces of product in it, and it is made in Italy. So this is the packaging. It's a one shade product, and believe it or not, I think this will work for most skin tones. In terms of usage as a highlighter, I don't think that it'll work for really, really deep skin tones or my skin tone and more fair, however, which I kind of have a fair skin tone because there's a pretty strong undercast on the cheeks with this. So I did try to use it as like blush draping and use it really kind of high because it had that darker tone to it. I was kind of doing the blush draping thing, but there's something about the kind of the texture of this that kind of highlighted with that undercast the finer lines around my eyes, and I just did not like that. I've tried it a couple different ways, and it's just going to be a blush topper for me because I don't like it on that area of my skin. It emphasizes the texture, if you will. It's not necessarily texture, but like kind of the fine lines. And if it accentuates the fine lines on my skin, I can only imagine what it would do if you have kind of texture, you know? So I'll go ahead and swatch it for you guys. It's a cardboard packaging. This is more a standard powder formulation. I was really excited about this. I thought for sure, you know, that this was going to work for me, but that strong kind of undercast on this one is just a no-go for me. So yeah, I'm going to have to make usage of it as a blush topper, I guess. But I'm trying to get you guys to see kind of the undercast right there. But yeah, something about the texture in this one, or the shine in this one, just wasn't cute on the top of my cheeks, even for like a blush drape. So that is the Too Faced Cheek Popper Blushing. It's called a blushing highlighter, I guess, but we'll just stick to kind of maybe the cheeks if I end up using it anymore. But unfortunately, it's just not a favorite for me. Like, I think you can kind of see right there. It's a little bit flaky, kind of. I don't know. Hopefully you can kind of tell. But yeah, not my favorite. It's not the smoothest, and it's not the most flattering in that area of my face. For whatever reason, I thought that Too Faced highlighter was going to be like my new favorite, and so it was like extra disappointing that it doesn't quite work for me. Anyway, I also got the ColourPop Sage the Day Pressed Powder Palette. So this one's got 0.3 ounces of total product across 9 shades, and ColourPop products are made in the USA. So they came out with 2 new 9 pans. I got this at Ulta, and I just loved this sagey kind of color story to it. And this one's got really good dimension in terms of light, medium, and nice deep shades in it. So it's really well rounded in my opinion, and it is a standalone for me as well. I really loved the looks that I've gotten out of this eyeshadow palette. Very, very pretty. And these are also magnetized in the palette if you want to pull them out, which is typical of ColourPop. There's a pink one too, and then a larger kind of pinky 12 pan one. I was kind of eyeballing those ones, but for whatever reason, I felt like they were ones that I might have already, or really similar to ones that I might have. But I don't know, we'll see. I'm a small ColourPop addict, so... That's kind of like blue or green brown kind of duochrome, that one. And then this last one is a really deep matte green shade. But yeah, I really like this palette from ColourPop. Like I said, it's really well done color story there. So that is the Sage the Day Pressed Powder Palette right there. And then I finally picked up the 2 Dior Quints from the holiday collection. I don't know what took me so long to get these, but they're still available quite a few places. The Dior holiday Quints are 2 products that I get every holiday season, and it's one of those heartwarming launches for me. Again, that's why I don't know why it took me so long to get these. So this first one is the Cosmic Eyes $3.59. There's a total of 0.24 ounces of product across 5 shades, so you are getting a lot of product with these. And these are made in France. So this is the box packaging. They got the standard Quint packaging from Dior. Mine were delivered when it was very, very cold outside. So one of my eyeshadows, the black one, kind of popped out, and I'll have to glue that back in. And then one is a little bit broken. I pulled the little brushes out of there because I never use those anyway. But I really like the color stories in both of these. The shadows themselves are really nice and smooth. I use them by themselves and the looks turn out really pretty. There's a lot of shimmer between the two, but there's still a really pretty like look that comes out of them. Nothing super revolutionary though in terms of the shades in these guys. So without trying to tip that over, there's a really pretty embossing in there as well, but I don't want that black to fall out. I'll just put my finger kind of over it. that matte, the black shade, is the only matte that's in this palette. They were very easy to work with as well. And then this matte black shade. So that one there is the Cosmic Eyes 359 palette. Right there. And the second one is 589 Galactic. This is also made in France with a total 0.24 ounces of product in there. And I just love the color story in this one too. Something about this one slightly reminds me of Tom Ford's Body Heat, but it's not. It's not like the same situation. Looks out of this one too came out very pretty. The only matte that's in here is this burgundy shade, and then this is a matte, but it's got sparkles in it, so it's like one of those shadows that have a matte base, and then those three on top are shimmers. And then this black shade here. So the blacks are pretty similar. So that one right there is the Galactic 589 Quint right there. And then you can see them both together right there. So those are the Dior Holiday Quints. And then I also bought the new Byredo Purple Echo 5-pan or quint. It's like their little egg-shaped situation. I think that their packaging is so like unique how they come. So this is made in Italy, and there is a total of 0.28 ounces of product across 5 shades. Again, you're getting a nice amount of product in there, but this is how the packaging is. You just pull it out. It's almost like a piece of jewelry or something, and then the quint is in this little bag. So I already pulled it out, and this is what she looks like. It's a purple to pink gradient metallic packaging. Really, really pretty. The Byredo quints that are like this are very nice and weighted, and I loved the color story in this. I did see on Instagram that people were saying it wasn't the best, and I went ahead and got it anyway. I was just a sucker for the way that this looked, and the 2 Byredo quints that I already have I really like. And I should have listened, but I'm still not mad at it, and I'll kind of get into that. But this is not the best formulation from Byredo. The formula is almost quite sticky. It's very prone to hard pan. It's really, really hard to pick up product. It's not necessarily that the shadows aren't pigmented. It's that it wants to just stick to itself and create that hard pan. And I had to like really beat up the shadows and beat up my poor brushes getting that product to get picked up and then put on the eye. Now, that being said, there was something after all of the extra work to get this on my eyes. The look was very, very pretty. Like it was like a bright purple, but it was also quite soft, and there was just something that was really, really beautiful about it. So if I want to put in that extra effort, I can get this really pretty purple look to it, but this formulation is not that good. So let me go ahead and swatch it for you guys. The best shade that's in here is the only matte that is in here, and that is this center shade right here. So that's a matte purple shade. And then the other 4 shades are pretty consistent in terms of their formulation. So I am pushing pretty hard, and the surface of these shadows is pretty kind of roughed up from when I had used this with brushes. So they should swatch decently because of that. And maybe now that I kind of got into the surface a couple times with these, maybe it'll be a little bit easier to work with. But like I said, the hardest thing about these was getting them picked up on the brush and built up on the eye was the biggest feat. See, because they look quite pretty there, but I have gone into this palette and roughed up those shades quite a few times so far. And then this last shade right here. It's almost like there's a little bit too much of a binder in them, whether it be silicone or what have you. It just is quite thick and a little bit gummy of a formula. But after all of the work of getting these on the eyes, I really liked the look that came out of it, but they weren't super easy to use. So yeah, I don't feel like this is Byredo's best. Maybe their best packaging. but not necessarily their best formulation right there. Like I said, just swatching them right now, I kind of feel like they're breaking into, you can see, I think you could even see that. You see that white shade, how there's chunks in there? It just wants to stick to itself. But I can say from swatching it this time, from times that I've used it and also swatched it, that it's starting to feel a little bit more loose the more that I've gotten into the pans, which I find quite interesting. But anyway, that is the new Byredo Purple Echo Quint right there. And yes, can we just with that packaging? And then I also picked up both of the 2 new palettes from the NARS collection that just launched. These were available at Ulta. So I'll start off with the face palette. So this is called the Orgasm Foreplay Blush Quad. NARS and its names, right? So there's a total 0.11 ounces of product, or 3.2 grams times 4 shades. So per pan, that's a decent amount for a quad this size, I think. And this is actually the palette that I've got on my cheeks today for both bronzer and blush and sort of highlighter, and we'll kind of get into that. So this guy here is made in Italy because, of course, this is a Baked Gelée palette, which is one of the reasons why I really wanted to get it, because Baked Gelée is one of my favorites on the skin. So really nice packaging, nothing super revolutionary, but it's a nice kind of pink packaging. And then there's a mirror in there, and then you've got 4 shades. So I've got on this one right here for a blush, and then I used this deeper shade as a bronzer. And I love the burnt, like, readiness of that on my skin for a bronzer. I've also used it as a blush and then a separate bronzer, and it looks pretty like that as well. And then this one I've worn a couple times as well, and it's just a really pretty kind of sunburnt blush. And then the highlighter shade, I tried to use that by itself, and on my skin tone it just has too deep of a tone to it. The shine is light enough, but the undertone and the undercast is too dark for me. So I did have it on, so it's mixed in with another highlighter because I had to lighten it up, because you could definitely see like the differentiation in terms of color from this area of my face to that area of my face, and it just looked a little off, kind of similar to how that Too Faced highlighter did, but the shine on this one is much smoother, I feel, and a little bit more flattering than the Too Faced one. It's a smoother product. Again, it's that Baked Gelée. So I did go over it with something to kind of, you know, make it the same lightness as the inner portion of my face, because it just looked kind of weird. So I'll use that highlighter kind of mixed in with those blushes if I want a little bit more gold or something like that, or lighten them up. But I love the other products. They're very, very pretty. I won't give you... Yeah, you can see right on the back of my hand there that it's just too dark for me, which is unfortunate, but it's okay. The shine is so pretty on it though. So if you're, I think, medium or deeper, it's a very, very pretty highlight shade. So yeah, I can easily use those 3 products, and then I can mix that in with any of those to kind of do some shade adjustment. So I'll get use out of it, but it's a really pretty one. So that one is the NARS Orgasm Foreplay Blush Quad, our cheek palette right there. And then I also got the Orgasm Rising eyeshadow palette. So this one's got 0.05 ounces of product times 9 shades. So that's a pretty decent amount of product that you're getting per pan. And then this one is made in Canada. So that's the box packaging right there. It's got the same style of packaging as the face palette, but it's just a little tiny bit thinner. So here's the face palette, here's the eyeshadow palette, but they're roughly the same size and the same style of packaging, kind of this glossy feel, which is nice that it's not that kind of sticky or kind of rubber. You know how NARS, that rubber gets like sticky over time, and it also, you know, collects fingerprints and stuff. So I don't mind that this is kind of this nice, easily wipeable kind of clean packaging there. And this is actually the eyeshadow palette that I've got on my eyes as well. And I was originally like not going to get this because we've seen similar shadows from NARS time and time again, and these perform much like the newer NARS formula, and I really enjoyed using these, and I think the look turned out really, really pretty. This actually looks like a very summery eyeshadow palette to me. So does the face palette. I got along really well with the shades, and I had very, very little fallout. I think I'm wearing 2, 4, 6 shades out of the 9. So I'm not wearing these two or this guy right here. This shade right here, it looks like a matte with a bunch of sparkle in it, but I almost feel like the base has got a slight satin finish to it, because I feel like when I blended it out, even in between the sparkle there's a little bit of a sheen to it. It's very, very pretty, or either it could be that that matte base is so saturated with those sparkles and they adhere really, really well. I've got that shade in the crease. I've got this one on the lid and a bit of these two right here. I blended out with this one and that one, and then I got that one underneath the brow. And again, I think the look turned out super, super pretty. Very cohesive with the cheek palette as well. It just really reminded me of a summer one. I feel like I feel very summery today, shall I say. And these guys. And then this last shade here, which this one here, it is a little pressed hard in the pan, but it's very pigmented and it blended out really well. And I haven't gotten hard pan over it, even though it's kind of pressed a little stiff. But yeah, really pretty. So again, I wasn't going to pick this up because it looked very similar to some other ones that I had. And I'm going to compare them to those two palettes that I thought initially that they were going to look very similar to. But one more time, this is the Orgasm Rising palette right there, and then the swatches of that guy. And then this is the Uninhibited palette right here, which is more burgundy, and then the other one is the Summer Solstice palette, which is a little bit more brown. So this one's Summer Solstice, this one is Uninhibited, and then let me grab and show the other one so you can see them all side by side. There are all three of those side by side in case you were interested, or in case you have the other two and you weren't sure about the new one, but you like the formulation. I feel like the formulation between these three particular palettes are pretty consistent. So hopefully that's helpful. And then I also got in my order from Glamlite with the new Strawberry Shortcake eyeshadow palette. I missed the initial launch with the blush, and then they also restocked it, and I missed that too, but I really wanted the blush from this collection. It looked like a pink that is just like right up my alley, but I did get the eyeshadow palette. So this is what the box looks like on the outside. This palette is made in China, and there's a total of 15 grams or 0.53 ounces of product in here. So that's roughly a gram per shade because there's 15 eyeshadows in here, which is a lot of product that you're getting. And then here is the actual packaging. It's a cardboard with a magnetic closure. Very, very cute. That is what the mirror looks like. And then here are your 15 shades. This is almost standalone for me, but because some of those shades are so bright, I did want something brighter and matte underneath the brow bone when I've used this, but I've worn this like really pretty pink shade all over the lid, and that was fine. I just didn't want to put that underneath the brow with as much kind of brightness as I had going on in the looks that I'd done out of this. But the colors in here are so pretty. The mattes are very, very pigmented. They blend really well, and wait till you see the shine on some of these shimmers. They're just really, really pretty. I still want that blush. I'm sure they'll restock it. I think they do that with quite a few of their products. But those ones are the first 4. And then these next ones. Yeah, this was one of those, when I did this one look out of this palette, it was one of those ones where it was like, oh, it looks so pretty, like you didn't want to wash it off at the end of the day, you know, type of thing. And then these next ones. Oh, so pretty. Look at that green. and then these last 3. How pretty, right? So those are the swatches for the Glamlite Strawberry Shortcake eyeshadow palette right there. I also got the eyelashes from the Strawberry Shortcake collection. So I think there's only one version of these available. That's what the box packaging looks like. This one, it slides out a little bit different than the Code Orange ones that I wear a lot. And I really like kind of the flutteriness of these eyelashes. But I found out from trying different lashes from Glamlite that the fibers aren't always the same. The fibers on these ones are much more malleable. So like if I take an eyelash curler to it, just a little bit of pressure and they just bend really quickly. Whereas the ones that I wear an absolute boatload of, Code Orange ones from the Michaela collection, they're a little bit more firm, so I can really hold a squeeze on them. And I actually prefer kind of the materials that these ones are made out of. The Code Orange lashes are the ones that I've got on today, and I've also I've also purchased with this order 10 more pairs of these because the sale was really, really good. And that should take me through the whole year till Black Friday this year, where I shouldn't have to get any more. They're my favorite eyelashes. So this is a pair that's cut down already. So you can see how much of that I cut down. And then for comparison, this is what the other ones look like. So a little bit more tame. How could I, yeah, I don't know. I'm trying to use the back of my hand so you can see the fibers on this there. But the Strawberry Shortcake ones are just not quite as voluminous, I guess, as the Code Orange. I like them. They're really pretty. But yeah, I prefer the Code Orange from Glamlite to those. And then next up here, I got in my order from the Pat McGrath website for the Star Wars products that I purchased, and it was the darndest thing. So I purchased the 3 bundle of the 5-pan palette so that you could buy all 3 in a bundle, right? Save some money and whatnot. And when I got my package, the box was so busted up, like you could tell that the shipper actually put some tape on it, and like there was a clean hole on the side of the box. So I was like, I hope everything is like not broke, right? And I only had one shade that was slightly puffed up and I was able to kind of repress it, but one of the palettes was not in the box. And so I had emailed the Pat McGrath, and I still haven't heard anything back from it. Here, a couple days later, just the single palette came in a box. And customer service still hasn't bothered to get back to me in over a week, so I was just going to go and tell them, hey, I got it, but it was in a completely separate box, which I found very, very strange. I just don't know what's going on over there in the Pat McGrath shipping department, but they need to spruce some stuff up over there, because between long wait times and stuff like this, that's kind of ridiculous in my opinion, especially considering this is like a luxury brand that's pretty expensive. So anyway, I'll start off with the 3 palettes here. So this is the box packaging on them all. The box packaging is much cooler in my opinion than the actual packaging. So I'm sure you guys have seen these a couple times because I've seen them on YouTube. So these palettes are made in Italy, and there's a total of 0.14 ounces of product across 5 shades. These do fall in line for me with the ones that came out in the holiday collection, the 5-pan. The formulations between them are the same as like these guys right here, these 5-pans that, again, these are the holiday collection releases. This formulation is the same as that in my opinion. And I've tried to wear these palettes standalone, and they're just not something that I like cohesively for how I like to do my eye makeup. They yield kind of cool looks, but there's just something that it's just missing for me. So I always want to incorporate something in there, but like I can mix and match between these 3 and get really nice looks out of them. So I just don't feel like they're very standalone eyeshadow palettes. And then the packaging is, it's cheap. And this has got a sticker on it. I've seen other people talk about the sticker. I've never been a fan of putting stickers on packaging. It just really lessens the luxuriousness of the product in my opinion. And you know, this is again a luxury brand, and like if I were to compare this to a Flower Nose Quint like the ones that I hauled last week, that packaging is just bar none a whole nother level, and the quality is really nice in those as well. and this is just not even on the same level as those flower nose packaging, you know what I mean? So I think that that could have been done better. So with that aside, let's go ahead and swatch them because the quality of the shadows is really nice. So this first one is Divine Droid. This guy here is the brightest out of the bunch. Yeah, and like I put this green on the lid and underneath the brow, and then the blue on the rest of the lid and this in the crease, and it was very shiny and shimmery and kind of unique and stuff, but it just wasn't my favorite. So I like to pair these palettes between each other or either bring in a couple other shades somewhere else when I use them. So those are the first four. Every shade in this palette is a shimmer, and then this really deep purple shade. So that one right there is the Divine Droid. And then we have got Sith Seduction. This is the packaging on this one. This one's really dark and grungy. Everything in here is very shiny as well. This is the shade that I had to kind of repress because it was puffed up, almost gonna like fall out. And then this last shade. So that one right there is Sith Seduction, right there. And the last one is the Golden One. And this is what the packaging looks like on this guy right here. And this one here has got two, I would say matte, but they've got just a little bit, they're not super, super flat matte like the most matte eyeshadow in the world. There's just a little bit of a, I don't want to say shimmer or anything like that, but a little bit of a slight sheen in those two, and that's these ones right here. So those are kind of the only two shades out of the 3 palettes that are in that kind of formulation. And then this last one right here. Very creamy, very metallic, that guy. So that one right there is, again, the Golden One right there. And then so you guys can see them all together right there. Because I'm such a Pat McGrath like crazy person, I love Pat McGrath, especially their eyeshadow palettes. I had to stop myself from getting the limited edition kind of Star Wars one. What I was most intrigued about was the cover. I noticed that she started to put the imagery of the packaging on the actual packaging, which is something that I've wanted her brand to do for a very, very long time. But it almost looked like it was one of those puffy, rubberized situations, and I think that might be a sticker too. I haven't heard confirming of that, but if anybody has gotten that, I'd love to know. Byredo did that on their larger, I think 18 pan palettes. Like they've got this really pretty image, but then I was like, you can like, it's a sticker. It's still really pretty, but it's still a sticker on, you know, plastic packaging. So I was really interested to see if that was a sticker on the Pat McGrath. Granted, Pat McGrath's palettes, her larger palettes in themselves, that packaging is very, very luxe, but I'd like to know. If you know, let me know. I also got one of her Chromolux Artistry pigments in Rouge Rebellion. I was trying to get the bundle with these two, but they sold out by the time I was able to get on the website. Cat in the window as per usual. So I got the last one that they had available, and I'm actually kind of glad that I just got the one because I don't feel like there's anything special about this product, and something tells me that the others were along the same vein as this one. So this has got 0.1 ounces of product, or 3 grams, so you are getting a massive amount of product in here, and this is also made in Italy. Again, this is the box packaging, and the lid is also a sticker, and the edges of the sticker on mine are already looking slightly worn, which just, even though this is a glass potted packaging, because of that reason, it just cheapens the whole product for me. The actual product inside is very, very lovely, but nothing revolutionary, nothing to write home about. There is a stopper in this one. I've got one from the Tarte Chrome Pots that's similar to this. This one's a little bit deeper, a little bit more, got a slight bit of pink in it compared to the Tarte one, but a very, very similar formulation to the Tarte Chrome paints. Just a really pretty red metallic shadow. It's not a duochrome or anything like that. It's just a really pretty red shadow. So again, nothing very revolutionary about that guy. So I'm not mad that I wasn't able to pick up the other ones. This one is just fine for me. So again, that is the Rouge Rebellion right there. And then I placed an order on the Beautylish website for a Koyudo brush set. They came out with 2 for the Year of the Rabbit, Chinese New Year. And by the time I found out that these were a thing, the other set had already sold out, but it's okay. It's okay. I tell myself because I think that these ones are much prettier. So I got the 3 brush set. They come in this box right here. I've actually gotten a couple of these from Koyudo. I actually ordered these from Toshiya at Food Japan Koyudo brushes before I think Beautylish had carried them. But these Koyudo brushes are along the same lines of, you know, Sonia G, Wayne Goss, Chikuhodo, Hakuhodo, that type of vein, handmade Japanese makeup brushes. So they're Kumano Food. They came in this little nice dusting right there. And then these are your 3 brushes. I want to show you guys the heads on these guys, and then I'll kind of let you guys look at the handles as well. So they're pointed right here. I've actually been using this one to kind of do like spot concealing, and it works really well to pinpoint very precise like pigmented powder foundation over kind of spots. So that's kind of how I've been using it. I've used this guy right here for highlighter and loved that. And then this brush here is really unique. It's the cheek brush. So I hadn't noticed this straight out the gate, but this is actually one of those brushes which I really love that have got a flat side like this, and then it's beveled like this on the other side. So it just makes like putting on either highlighter, a lighter, like fluffier dusting of highlighter, or either blush. It's just a beautiful brush for that. So it's got that, you know, that flat side, and then it's beveled right there. And then here are the handles. So it's going to be kind of hard to see, but there's like a little rabbit. It's like the rabbit jumping over the moon. Maybe it's the sun. And then there's a couple little snowflakes on there, but how beautiful are the handles on these brushes? They're so, so pretty. So between the 2 sets and the other one selling out before this one did, I actually think that the handles on these ones looked prettier. I can't say that they are exactly, in my opinion, because I don't have the other set. So these 2 are both circular all the way around, and they come to a point. Just a really beautiful set there. Food Beauty might actually have these 2. They are a retailer for a lot of handmade Japanese makeup brushes too. So I'll see if I can't find them online and link them. And maybe Beautylish came back with them in stock. I'm not 100% sure, but they're just really, really stunning brushes. Like, I just love that gradation of color, and then the little rabbit right there. And that's everything that I got in that I purchased this week. And I got in 2 just absolutely amazing PR packages. And this first one I have seen kind of all over YouTube. There's been a lot of swatch tests, but Oden's Eye came out with the Jewel Shine single eyeshadow collection. And I did look on the website, and it appears that the bundle is sold out in a couple of the shadows. I really hope that they restock the bundle of all of the shadows. And even though the initial price tag looks quite like steep, the quality of the shadows, wait till you see some swatches, the quality of the shadows is just astronomical. Like, I don't feel like there's a shadow in the entire bunch of 42 eyeshadows that's like a dud. They're all absolutely stunning shadows. So they come in a little single packages like this right here, and on the package it says 2.4 grams. So you are getting a lot of product per pan in these, as well as them being super, super beautiful. Another thing that I love is each shadow has got a sticker on the back that lists the name of the eyeshadow on there. And it's a pretty sticker too, if that's a thing. It's like a holographic kind of purple. I think one of the other bundles available was 12 shadows and then a free the 12 pan shadow palette. So I believe the one that I have came with like a sheet of little stickers in it, and I stuck them all over the top of the palette here. So this is the magnetized palette where you can put all our 12 shades in there, and it's got the holes to pop them out, or you can just use a magnet. And then there's also these little single pan containers as well that you can get. I think they're $1 something on the website, but both of mine are empty because I did grab a big magnetic palette and put all of the shades in there. And wait till you see how aesthetically pleasing this is. This is a Give Me Glow magnetic palette that I've had for a while, and this particular size fits all of the shadows, single shadows from this collection inside of it. So that's why I put them all in there. There's something to me about looking at this. The way that these are right here in this palette is so aesthetically pleasing. They're just things that like, I just like to stare at. Like, I'm going to try to list them in the description box in order of how I've swatched them on my arm, because otherwise it would take me a very long time, because they're magnetized in here to see the back, and then like, you know, it'd just take me a really long time. So because I want to swatch them all for you, I just want to kind of do it like that. So I can say safely that I don't think you can go wrong with any shade that's in here. They're all absolutely beautiful. There are some shades that are like multi-chromes that are very, very smooth. There are some that are a little bit more putty-like that are also like a duochrome. And then there are some that are just so foiled. So I would say there's safely about 3 different formulations in there. Those multi-chrome shades are more expensive than the others, but they're also just absolutely beautiful. Every shade in here is beautiful. We'll just go that route. You'll see here in a minute. So let me just get swatching here. I do like to, you know, live swatch for you guys. So, and you can see I've used these. I love them. And then this next one, these two right here are multi-chrome, like kind of shifty shadows. They're stunning. I'm just going to say that about every shade, to be honest with you guys, because they're all stunning. stunning eyeshadows. I actually wore that red shade on Christmas. It was beautiful. And then these next ones. What a range though, what a range. If you loved like the shifty, shimmery, multi-chrome style shadows that were like in the holiday palettes that they came out with, which are some of my favorite palettes for the entire year, it's that kind of formulation, just beautiful. And then these next two, these ones here almost have like a creaminess to them. They're like a kind of a putty style texture. You can see kind of how they've got the dips in them. This is another one of those kind of multi-chrome shades there. Stunning. And then these next guys. This is another kind of creamy, putty style one right there. I put the palette down so I can kind of give you guys a once over of these shades, because I am not going to fit them all on my arm, unfortunately. They're so pretty. But these guys next. Oh gosh. I'm so scared that I'm going to drop this palette. And then these next guys. And getting into these greens here. I gotta set this palette down here. It's really hard to try to swatch these because it's pretty weighty with all those shadows in it. Oof. And then these next ones. And then down to the last row here, this is one of those multi-chromes. They're like, they feel like silk, those multi-chrome, that multi-chrome formulation. This orange is stunning as well. They're all stunning. I keep saying that, but I wish, I know it's so hard. This shifts like a greenish golden, I don't even know how, like rusty orange color. It's very, very beautiful. They're all very, very beautiful. I just keep saying it, but if they restock the bundle, I would jump on it. Like, there isn't a shade that I've used out of these shadows or swatched out of these shadows that I don't love. I kind of feel that way about the holiday palettes, the Christmas Eve and Christmas, Merry Christmas the 2 Christmas palettes that they came out with. Not a dud in the whole entirety of both of those palettes. I can use any shade and they're just all beautiful. And these last 2 here, this is another one of those really silky, silky multi-chrome shades. Right there. Whoa. And we'll put those right here. Multi-chromes are very hard to show up on camera, but they're just so stunning. So stunning. So this makes me wonder, right? So this is the Jewel Shadow Collection. If Oden's Eye is going to do a collection like this in their matte formulation, because their matte formulation is stellar as well. Very, very pigmented, very blendable, very, like, for me, easy to work with. So, like, in my little dreamy head here, I imagine this full palette of their Jewel shadows and then a coordinating one similar to it sitting next to it with all matte shadows. Like, what a dream, right? To, like, be able to build and curate palettes out of both quality shadows and then so many stunning shades, you know? I don't know, it just gets me excited thinking about it. Not sure if they're doing that or not, but it would be super cool if they did. So anyway, those are the new Jewel eyeshadows from Oden's Eye right there, and they're just absolutely stunning. Like I said, hopefully they restock that bundle, because I feel like even though it's a large price tag, you're getting a ton of absolutely stunning eyeshadows, but each shadow you have a ton of product as well. Like, just to go through one of those shadows is going to take a while, you know what I mean? So I definitely think the price tag is worth it. So an absolute huge thank you to Oden's Eye for sending them over their stunning launch from Oden's Eye. And then lastly, I got a PR package from the House of Sillage with their new Avatar collection. I was so excited to receive this. Fun fact about me, when I was little, I was obsessed with the sea life, marine sea life, whales, dolphins, turtles, the fishies, all the things, right? So I still absolutely love ocean life, and this packaging on their perfume bottle for this collection is, it's hard to say favorite when all of their bottles are so pretty, but I will say that the cap on this one is probably my favorite because I'm so obsessed with marine life. I still am. As a kid, I wanted to be a marine biologist. Kind of hard to do when you live in North Dakota. and I'm do the horse thing, you know what I mean? So anyway, this is the Avatar by House of Sillage. They sent over the fragrance and then also the perfume amplifiers. And the perfume amplifiers are really fun. I have their other sets. They launched 2 other 4 sets as well. And they're really fun to like put on your wrist or like the fragrance points of your skin and then spray on a House of Sillage fragrance. It just kind of adds a little bit of a unique or different twist to whatever fragrance that you're spraying. And then also what these are really fun to do is to use them with diffusers, and you need like 2 drops maximum, and it'll smell up an entire room of the fragrance from the amplifier bottles, which is a fun way to use them as well. And I've used them both ways, and I've enjoyed experimenting and using them like that as well. So on the card here, it says the amplifiers can be worn alone or layered with Avatar Way of Water limited edition fragrance to enhance and customize your personal scent. And then it says the design on the fragrance is unparalleled and incomparable. And I believe that. It's absolutely stunning. So I'm going to read the notes and then I'll show you guys the bottle. So the Avatar Way of Water limited edition perfume by the House of Sillage couples together the alien and exotic beauty of Pandora's bioluminescent rainforest and the reef's azure blue waters with notes of bergamot, sparkling pear, ylang-ylang, amberwood, and tree moss. So this is the card again that came in the box. And the way the House of Sillage packages their stuff in general is absolutely stunning, and the box packaging is pretty too. So this is the box that the fragrance comes in. And then you open it up and there is your perfume. Let me pull her out. This is the bottle. Like, it's got a gradient from like a chartreuse green to deep blue there, like ocean colors. And I don't know what this little feller is called right here. Maybe some of you can let me know in the comments, but he sure is beautiful. He's like a flying sea dolphin or something. We'll just go with that. And this is, again, this has got to be my favorite bottle. Again, I love sea life. So these are Swarovski crystals and enamel. And then you got your guy on top. I mean, I know it looks beautiful in the viewfinder, but until you really see like this bottle in person, I think it's really hard to tell just how beautiful it is. And then the fragrance, I really wasn't sure what to expect with this fragrance, but it's very fresh and it feels very sea-like, if you will. So like if you were in a spa and you had like their like sea smelling body products or something like that, they're not... This is on a much higher level, much more complex fragrance than those, but along that type of vein for me. And it's very, very concentrated. The House of Sillage perfumes have a very high concentration of perfume oil, which means that you don't have to use a lot. And with this particular fragrance, 2 spritzes is the max that I can use on myself, and it lasts all day long. Like, I can smell this fragrance all day with 2 spritzes. Like, I'll just do 1 on each crook of my arm and that's it. When I initially smelt this perfume, there was something about it that gave me a really nostalgic vibe to something from my younger days, maybe when I was 18 or 19 years old, and I still haven't been able to pinpoint it, but there's a note in here that reminds me of something. It reminds me of walking into a department store that they have since closed down. It was similar to a Herberger's, but it wasn't called Herberger's, and I know a lot of those stores have closed down too. And I was in the fragrance section of that department store sniffing perfumes, and when I smelled this one, it immediately took me back to that moment. Like, this was probably, I'm talking like 20 years ago, which I found very interesting. That's what this reminded me of, was that particular time, you know, however many years ago. I don't know. It's really crazy how scents can kind of do that to you, you know? So this is, again, it's a really green, fresh scent. And it's not one that's gourmand. I don't get like sweet gourmandy scents out of it, but it's one that I can wear pretty easily because it's a really nice fresh scent. It is, again, I wouldn't, for me, go any more than 2 spritzes though, because it's very potent. It's a really, really pretty fragrance though. I found that interesting that it brought back that department store, and gosh, I wish for the life of me I could remember what the name of that store was. It was along the same like chain of department stores as Herberger's. There was like 3 that were like sister stores or something. Anyway, this is the Avatar fragrance from the House of Sillage, and it's just absolutely stunning. Let me zoom in. I want you guys to see this in its as best as I can get it to come across in the camera. It's so pretty. It's so, so pretty. Like, Look at him. I love it. I just love it so much. They definitely weren't wrong when they called the bottle unparalleled and incomparable, because that's what it is. And then the perfume amplifiers. So there's 4 of these, and you've got Reef, which has got mysterious notes of rose deepened with amber and musk. You've got Ocean, bring the serene healing powers of the water with you everywhere you go. Rainforest, floral notes of tuberose and ylang ylang. Scent is deepened with cedar, amber, and musk. And then you have Sky, which is a crisp, clean fragrance. Subtle and breezy scent with bright citrus notes of mandarin, lemon caviar, meets fresh lily of the valley, and aquatic notes transports you to Sky's limit. So this guy right here, so it comes in a 4 set right there. And then the bottles are 15 milliliters each. So it kind of says how to use and the instructions with the notes of each 4 on here. And then there's marine life, different marine life on each bottle as well. And it goes from that gradient of green into like a deep blue. And these two, they really, you can tell when you smell each one of them that they're going to pair really well with the fragrance itself. They're very fresh, very green, very ocean type of scents to them, and I really like all 4 of these as well. I feel like I can wear them easily paired with the fragrance, or also if I want to put a couple drops in a diffuser or something like that to make my house smell good. So let me show you the bottles. I want you guys to be able to see just how pretty even these little bottles are. This one here is Ocean, and there's a humpback whale on the back of this one. And then you have got the Sky one right there. And this almost looks like a flying manta ray or some type of bird on there. And then we have got Rainforest. I think those are the little jellyfish. And then this one here, those are the, oh yeah, those are the manta rays, I think, on this one here. And that is the Reef bottle right there. And again, all of these are really pretty scents too, so it's going to be fun to pair those with the fragrance as well. And just an absolute huge thank you to the House of Sillage for sending that over. Like, another thing, like when I look at the palette with the Odin's Eye singles, same thing when I look at all the bottles of the House of Sillage, but now with that Avatar one, it's just, it gives me all the feels. I just absolutely love it. So huge thank you to them for sending that over. I feel so grateful. And that is everything that I have for my haul today. I hope that you guys enjoyed it and found it helpful. Thank you for watching. Do not forget to wear sunscreen, and I will see you guys later. Bye.